Hi everyone, welcome to another sketchbook tour video. This time we're going to be looking at my most recent sketchbook for the Robosphere comic project. I've decided to show this sketchbook off because at this point in Volume 3's development, a lot of the details of things like plot and spoilers and character details are all kind of set in stone. So really this sketchbook's just been finessing things that are already being worked on for the volume. The things you'll see in here are really too small to be spoilers for Volume 3, basically. It's just kind of me finessing certain elements, certain character designs, and things like that. Again, a lot of the drawings in here have been done while I've been on my travels. The orientation of them switches a lot based on where I'm sitting at the time, so I'm going to be adjusting the orientation of the sketchbook as we go. This is the first one. This is Mars, who obviously a lot of you will recognise. This is just a development sketch, one of several primarily being done for character bios that are going to be part of the bonus content of Volume 3. This is one of the Striders from Robosphere. There's more of these creatures in Volume 3. They've been touched upon very lightly in Robosphere content so far. Obviously the design of these things actually predates Robosphere considerably. They're originally from a 2014 poster I designed for an art installation. This is Mécanique, another character from Volume 3, and again this is just a piece for her bios and potentially for merchandise like stickers and that kind of thing. This is one of the first sketches of Casimir that I made following completion of Fatal Error, and his more kind of humanoid proportions come through from that film. Originally Casimir had a much more cartoonish design, but the more humanoid proportions reflect a lot of the characters in Volume 3. Kind of a shift to a more detailed art style. This is Daz, a minor character from Robosphere. This was actually done for some Top Trumps cards that I was working on that are still being worked on now. They're kind of in a testing stage at the moment, and this artwork wasn't used in the end, but I quite like it. Daz is quite a fun character. Again, he predates Robosphere a lot as well. His original look comes from a costume design that I made in 2016, I think. This is Zepp, another minor character in Robosphere, although he was planned to appear in the Leo and Cindy animated kind of pilot that I was planning. This is kind of trying to revise his design. Obviously for Leo and Cindy, Zepp became a lot sort of stockier and a lot chunkier to add some more variation to the shape language and the character design. He was originally very small and short, and this reflected how his personality was changing for the Leo and Cindy short. There's quite a lot of Zepp in this as I'm trying to work out how to refine the design to make it feel more balanced. This is Russell, again from Volume 3. This is the look that he's going to have throughout Volume 3, where he's kind of got his jumpsuit on from the factory, but he's got a vest underneath it to show that he's kind of evolving into his own character, his own personality. Don't like this one. Russell in his basketball stuff. This is very rough. This was an attempt to redraw an old piece of Russell artwork, but whatever. Some of Leo here again. This is trying to take his more exaggerated Leo and Cindy design and make it work in the Robosphere canon, where the art style is slightly more realistically proportioned and things like that. Leo's a funny one because his body shape is really exaggerated. His top half is really... He's extremely top heavy, and the bottom half of him, his legs are really short and stubby. So I always struggle to kind of get that look right without it looking completely wrong. But I got there in the end. So here's our first instance of me using both sides of the pad. This is the first example of me preparing to do a Robosphere character bible. So this would be a very limited run booklet. It might even be a single copy or whatever for my own reference, really, of all the characters in Robosphere, supplementary artwork, full bio information, that kind of thing. There's quite a few instances of me planning this throughout this sketchbook. I've not produced it and don't plan to yet. It's more just future prep kind of thing. This is Chipper, one of the minor characters from Volume 1, and some more of Daz. I think these were being done for Top Trumps. Chipper's not in the final Top Trump selection, so he's not made it in, but Daz did. Here's some more of Zepp and Leo and Cindy. These were done as the practice sketches for some Clip Studio Paint character artwork that I was working on when I was trialling that software for a while. I like these, but it's not quite there yet. They don't quite feel right. to me. This is some of the enforcers. This was done for volume 3. As described in a previous vlog, a lot of what I put in the comics does start life as sketches, and some of these may or may not have been used in volume 3. This is Geordie. This kind of outfit with the shorts and the hoodie is like his kind of athletic outfit, because the basketball gear that the rest of the team wear is like red, and it sort of blends in too well with his fur. So I had the idea to do like an alternative outfit for him. While I was pleased with this, there's a better version of this still to come, and the second version is the one that I've used for artwork, not this one. These are some sketches whilst I was on holiday in Gran Canaria of the buildings, the architecture in there. I'm always thinking about ways that I can use the architecture that I see on my travels in Robosphere, particularly like geometric or like brutalist sort of shapes and structures. And the idea of being like near the coast is something that I was looking at for volume 3 and for volume 4 more specifically, and there's quite a lot of that coming up in this sketchbook of looking at imagery of things by the coast, looking at like the line between the land and the sea and that kind of thing. This is a sketch of the factory floor with the factory manager in the foreground, who we see a bit of in volume 1 and a bit of in volume 2. This is based on the interior of the Gloria Hotel where we were staying. I quite liked these big kind of concrete arches that it had over this like seating area here. So it's just kind of looking into that, really, how it might be used in future. Also at the hotel there was a basketball court right on the coastline, and I really like that idea for Robosphere as well. So there's just some sketches and some exploration of the basketball court imagery across this sketchbook actually as well. Here are some more of Leo. This is the first recent drawing of Leo I've done lately where I'm really happy with it, and this was digitised and turned into artwork for volume 3. This one's more realistically proportionate and is very similar to the Leo and Cindy artwork that I made for the original kind of pilot pitch, but this is more like Leo as he appears in Robosphere. This is Geordie in his athletic gear. While there are no basketball scenes in volume 3, Geordie does wear this at a later point in the volume, but I can't explain where. Spoilers. This is Futura and one of the Distill artist robot gang. Just looking at like poses and forms for this. I really like both these characters, but neither of them are going to be in volume 3, unfortunately. There's just no space for them. Here are some more of the factory manager. I really like this. I've tried to make a digital version of this that captures the same sort of look this has, but it's not quite there. This is a really nice sketch of the factory manager's head. For so many of the characters in Robosphere that are based on solid shapes and angles that aren't flexible, one of the challenges that I face is capturing that from different angles for usage in the comic, and also one of the things that I've explored with animation as well. Obviously, when something needs to retain a solid shape while moving around, it's really hard to kind of capture that and keep it consistent, for me anyway. So the factory manager has been more difficult than I would have thought to think about in 3 dimensions, but it's been quite fun. Here's another sketch of him here. The shapes aren't quite right with this, so I abandoned it. Here are some more of the factory director, who we get a glimpse of in volume 2. He is one of the larger size enforcer robots. We've yet to see much of him. Another one here of the factory director. This is kind of like his overall shape. Rather than the very inflexible and kind of like crude claws the normal enforcers have, the factory director has like pipe tube arms and claws that have like fingers on them so he can actually grip stuff. These are from volume 3. These are some sketches of Geordie that really troubled me because I'm trying to... There's a few frames in volume 3 where swift motion needs to be shown, and it's difficult to kind of capture that movement in one still image. And there's a scene where Geordie's arm gets damaged and he swings it round, and these are just kind of like trying to get that right. And whether or not they ended up being used in the volume, I'll let you find out when it gets released. This is like the skeletal structure inside of Geordie's arm, because obviously he's a robot, so he's got like an endoskeleton inside underneath his fur. This is the factory clerk, the blue one from volume 2, in a scene that I'm not sure whether or not will be in volume 3, where he and the factory manager watch the squad that are sent to recapture Russell get destroyed one by one and feel a bit powerless to be able to do anything about it. The scene in volume 3 kind of like interrupt some of the action. So I'm still undecided as to whether or not I want to include it, but I like this clerk enforcer, so I might put it in for him, but otherwise it might not be in the final comic. Here are some sketches of the basketball court. If you followed me for a while, you'll notice that I often draw Russell and the other characters in basketball gear and in basketball scenarios, and that's because Russell's arc will conclude with him kind of finding his place in the world. So this is just a design for the basketball court, which I wanted to have like an urban sort of look to it, but also with like a sci-fi kind of twist, with some very on-the-nose like robot imagery there as well. Kind of to suggest that they've kind of started their own culture based on imagery of things like electric shocks and cogs and gears and things like that. This is another one here at the basketball court. This I really like, and this was used for a kind of one-off random piece of artwork that I put out a few days ago. Here's some of Mars and Corey, two of the basketball team. These are just very rough sketches. This isn't very interesting. This is just deciding what to include as stickers and bonuses for Volume 3 and which characters to feature as and when. This is Vivian, who is a character from Volume 1 that's not been drawn for a long, long time, and she needed some up-to-date artwork, so I did some. And this is me kind of trying to work out how to give her old, slightly creepy look a slightly more friendly appearance to use going forward, because I quite like the idea that she'll be prominent in future volumes of Robosphere. She's not yet, but she probably will be. I've already got plans outlined for her. Here's some more of Leo and Cindy and Zepp, and these are much more successful to me. This is really nice, and I really like this one of Zepp as well. Like the kind of bulkiness is there and the weightiness that I want his character to have now, but it feels more kind of balanced than the previous sketches that I'd made. And this was also used for Top Trumps, of which Zepp is one of them. He's included in the set of 32, and so are Leo and Cindy, but this artwork wasn't used for that. This is Russell in his boiler suit from Volume 1 and 2. I need to do an updated artwork of Russell in this outfit because it is in Volume 3, and I'm not going to be using any of the currently existing artwork of Russell in this outfit for Volume 3. I need to do something new for it. So this is just a sketch for that. Here are some more of Russell. This is him in his parka. Again, this is a redraw of an old one that I quite liked where he's kind of floating in space. Again, Russell's parka is in Volume 3, so he needs some updated artwork in that outfit as well, which also I haven't done yet, but I'm working on it. As usual, Russell proves quite tricky for me to draw in complicated positions and things. This is Anton in what I think will become his new kind of hero artwork, so his new main reference image of him kind of unsheathing his sword. Here's a Doctor Who sketch that Sean did. Cute. And that is it. That's the end of the sketchbook. So this is my 10th Robosphere sketchbook. That's 10 that are primarily dedicated to Robosphere. And again, I've already started to fill up the next one, but that does contain spoilers for Volume 3, so it'll be a while before I can show that off. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see anything else from my sketchbooks or any specific characters, let me know. I hope to start doing videos focusing on the history of several characters from Robosphere. Obviously, as so many of them predate Robosphere, it's nice to cover their history and how it was used before that project. I also want to do some more animated shorts that I am working on at the minute. Stay tuned, because I think I'm going to be releasing Yorick, which is the first animated short from my course, early next year as well. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.